The buying process for an EV can be overwhelming, especially with so many new options on the market in 2023. I just recently went through this process and ended up buying this 2022 Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive with the LFP battery. I just wanted to share some thoughts after roughly 1 month of ownership. Before I decided on the Model 3, I cross-shopped multiple different options that are on the market now. So I looked at the Ioniq 5, the Kia EV6, the Mustang Mach-E, and even just as a comparison, the Camry Hybrid. Ultimately, I decided to go with the Model 3, mostly because of performance, efficiency, overall value, and really the supercharger network. I actually ended up buying my Model 3 used from a dealership right after the price changes to the Model 3. I was able to negotiate not only a better price on the car itself, but also on my Outback. Tesla is notorious for offering low trade-in values, so I was really just on the hunt for the best trade-in value at that time. And realistically, if you're in the same situation, try to go through CarMax, try to go through Carvana, or honestly, the best case, if you have the time and the patience, to try to private sell. That's how you're really going to get the most value for your used car. And honestly, ultimately, even when taking that EV tax credit into consideration, I actually still ended up doing better off than just buying it brand new. Let's go ahead and kick things off with what I love about the car. Realistically, this can be its own video, and likely it probably will. I'll just share a condensed version here. First and foremost, the fuel savings are incredible. I'll go ahead and throw up a couple graphics up here just to illustrate this. But honestly, really more to show that I could have saved even more had I just installed a level 2 fast charger at my house before buying the car. When it comes to road trips, the cost in the Model 3 is under half of what the same trip used to cost in my old Outback, and really only added around 30 minutes to my trip. And speaking of superchargers, the supercharger network is honestly really reliable in my experience. So far, on every trip that I've taken, there are always superchargers along the way, and I have not run into a situation where one has been down or not working. The car is super comfortable to drive on long trips and on short trips, mostly because the seats are really comfy and cleanup is super easy, which is really important to me because I have 2 dogs that we typically travel with. The interior is also incredibly quiet without any of that engine noise, which is honestly a really nice change of pace because I also own an E90 335i that's pretty loud, so I wanted something a little bit quieter. My other favorite things are just all the different modes. I mean, there's dog mode, camping mode, sentry mode, just all the modes. It's really great that you can do so much. Honestly, another thing that I really love is being able to watch YouTube videos and play games while I'm charging. And there's even karaoke for like road trips, so that makes the time pass a little bit quicker. There are definitely some downsides when it comes to the Model 3, especially when you're first getting used to it. You realize that Tesla did really take an Apple mentality, meaning you have to adapt to the device rather than the device adapting to you. And that's pretty apparent in the lack of physical buttons, which can be pretty frustrating, but thankfully the voice commands work well enough. There can also be a learning curve when it comes to things like one-pedal driving and just basic things like changing climate controls. The column shifter did also cause me some confusion, and that's not specific to Tesla, that's actually specific to column shifters. This caused some confusion because it's where my windshield wipers used to be in all my previous cars, so I found myself in neutral in the rain when I just wanted to turn my wipers on. I did also experience some initial range anxiety on my first road trip, and it caused me to stop to charge more than I likely should have. But if you're using the tools in the car like the range screen and you're listening to the tips that it provides, by the return leg of that road trip, you'll feel more comfortable and you'll kind of have a better sense of when you should and shouldn't charge. And really another weird con in the car is the alert sounds can be kind of jarring, especially due to how quiet the cabin is. And I understand that they're there to keep you safe, but it definitely can almost feel like a jump scare sometimes. And to my original point about fuel savings, they can be pretty high compared to gas, but it is really only noticeable if you're charging at home more often than supercharging. So after a month of switching to an EV, I feel like I can confidently say that the Model 3 really is the perfect daily driving solution to my needs. And honestly, it's going to vary from person to person. There are a ton of different options, and depending on your situation, there may be a better fit that's out there. There's a lot of resources online, and if all else fails, trying to go down to your local dealership to at least get behind the wheel of one of these to experience it, I think most people will be pleasantly surprised. Thank you for watching, and I hope this video helped anybody who may be on the fence like I was. Please subscribe for more content centered around Teslas and other EVs. I do plan to do some more in-depth videos on this car, and hopefully get to review some cool new EVs in the near future.